Well, hello, I am Kevin John, and thank you for joining me for this ABC 10 Plus special on high school football in the Sac-Joaquin section. We're taking a look at some of the key moments from games in the third week of the season. But first, we're going to look ahead to this upcoming week's action with our game of the week between the St. Mary's Rams out of Stockton against the Oak Ridge Trojans out of El Dorado Hills.
We're going to put on a show for you guys, I promise.
The St. Mary's Rams have been the biggest show in the 209 so far this season, off to a dominant 3-0 start with an offense that's putting up 43 points per game. Their motivation comes from last season's disappointments.
I think all of our guys this year have a lot of heart. Everyone wants it. Last year we did not have the outcome we wanted, so I think everyone's kind of coming into the season with a chip on their shoulder, and I think everyone's putting in the extra work to get what we need to get done this year.
Meanwhile, the Oak Ridge Trojans are just happy to finally have a home game after starting their season on the road.
Oh, I'm excited. You know, home opener, it's always exciting, and it's the first game of the year, so at home, so I'm excited.
We're ready. We've had some far ones, and we're excited to do it in front of our home crowd, and it's electric. They bring the juice, and that's what gets the team fired up, ready to go.
Oak Ridge kicked off their campaign with games against out-of-section opponents in Southern California. They are 1-1 to start the year and coming off of a bye week.
We played a real good team down in San Diego, Mission Hills. Came up a little short in the fourth quarter, but great atmosphere for us, great learning experience.
Oh, it's going to help us a lot. I already know. Frontier's a really good team, and that Mission Hills team we played down in SoCal was a really good test for us.
And now, Oak Ridge will be put to the test again as they prepare for a St. Mary's team that's had this matchup circled on their calendar.
I'm really excited. I've been looking at this game since they scheduled it, and I'm really grateful to be able to play against a good team as Oak Ridge.
They have some big guys up front. We're not always a super big team, but we like to have a lot of hustle and a lot of power. So hopefully we could use that to combat them and do what we do.
In addition to the incredible athletes we have the privilege of watching on the field, these two programs are led by legendary coaches in the Sac-Joaquin section who have a long history of battles against each other.
I go way back with Coach Taylor. We have a great history of epic battles, together now, and we're looking forward to it. So our players know we have to play really well to have this go our way.
I mean, hopefully we can hold them under 50 points. That's what they've been scoring every week. They got a lot of skill. Coach Frank's a great coach and one of the all-time greats, and they have a great program, a lot of respect. We're going to play to good teams. That's what we're going to do. We're going to see another one Friday, a lot of speed. Hopefully we get a little physical with them, messing around, get the ball in the fourth quarter, and hopefully finish this time.
Ooh, what a game that's going to be. Grab your popcorn. Now, ABC 10 is looking forward to being out there Friday night. And for those who missed out in last week's action, we got your back. Here's a look at last week's highlights, starting with 12 Bridges and Whitney.
Good evening, I'm Matt George here at Whitney High School in Rockland for our ABC 10 Game of the Week. The Sac-Joaquin section is full of amazing rivalries, and we have one of the newer ones featured tonight. It's the 12 Bridges Raging Rhinos that are less than a mile away, taking on the Whitney Wildcats. It wasn't much of a bus ride for the Raging Rhinos to get to Whitney High School. In fact, they could have easily walked the 9/10 of a mile to get here without breaking a sweat. There was an energy in this stadium tonight that only a rivalry can produce. Of course, the Wildcat cheer team and dance teams showed up to put on a halftime show that only the Super Bowl could rival, and the Whitney student section was out in full force. They brought the energy all night long. And early on, they were treated to a defensive battle. After forcing a fumble on the opening drive of the game, check out this play by junior Joseph Cron. He comes flying in to knock this ball away. Somehow it was still ruled a catch. 12 Bridges held Whitney scoreless in the first half while their offense eventually got into gear. Check out the power from senior running back Chase Wylidko. He plows his way through the Whitney defensive line and into the end zone for 6. Fast forward to the second half, and that's when the fireworks started. Senior quarterback Connor Frontiera hits fellow senior Will Grant on the slant route, and he cruises into the end zone for the touchdown to open the second half. At this point, it was 28-0 12 Bridges, and this game looked over. But Whitney finally broke through with one massive play. Carson Floyd airs it downfield to the wide-open sophomore Easton Tarble for the nearly 90-yard touchdown. Finally, the Wildcats break through, and they have plenty of time to fight their way back into this game. Or they would have. if the Raging Rhinos didn't immediately answer back with another touchdown reception by Will Gant. Now, credit to the Wildcats. They battled, and I mean battled to the very end, scoring 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. But ultimately, they came up short. For the second year in a row, 12 Bridges gets the victory 42-27. But for Coach Chris Bean and the Raging Rhinos, their standards are set higher than how that game ended.
You know, truth be told, we're getting everybody's best games. So to be able to get out of here with a win in a, SFL type environment with Whitney, I mean, their crowd was unbelievable. We were honored to be in this place and to come out of here with a really nice win when it's all said and done, save about 5-6 minutes of, the fourth quarter. I'm proud of these kids.
Good stuff out there, Matt. Congratulations to Coach Bean and the Raging Rhinos on the victory. All right, well, we're going to keep this party going with the Del Oro Golden Eagles, and man, did they soar high against those Placer Hillmen. Let's get you out to Auburn, home of Placer High School. Del Oro making the trip from Loomis to be there. Now, both of these teams are coming off big wins last week. We're going to pick this one up in the second quarter. Del Oro ball, QB1, Nolan Suave, but don't call him Rico Suave. He finds his tight end, Luke Daler, for a 14-yard gain. That would set up this. Nolan in the pocket looking for a receiver, and he threads the needle to Ashton Greenhall for the touchdown. That was a dot by Suave. Too smooth. Del Oro led 21-7 at the half. To the third quarter, Del Oro ball. Brock Sherman takes the handoff, and this dude must be a salsa dancer because them hips don't lie. He jukes, spins, and dances his way in for the touchdown. This game was all Del Oro. They go on to defeat the Placer Hillmen 49-14. Del Oro moves to 2-0 on the season. So congratulations to the Golden Eagles. Now, it goes without saying that this season hasn't gotten off to the best start for Argonaut. But if you know anything about the Mustangs, they're as resilient as they come. And boy, did they clap back on Friday night. We're heading to Loomis on the campus of Del Oro High School, where the Colfax Falcons are facing the Argonaut Mustangs out of Jackson. Argonauts still seeking their first win of the season, and spoiler alert, they would make that happen. On the opening kickoff, Argonaut wasted no time getting busy. Errol Gardner receives the kickoff. And just like a teenager running home on a Friday night to make curfew, Gardner is going to run this all the way to the house. And just like that, it's 7-0 Argonaut. Now, later in the quarter, Argonaut with the ball. Jordan Kasperi, he's going to throw a dart to Will May. And watch May get funky with it as he jukes out 2 defenders and take it to the house. Them boys ain't playing around. Argonaut up 14-0 at this point. But they're still not satisfied. Whatever you're doing, stop right now and feast your eyes on this. Catch of the year. Jordan going to the air, and watch Jerome Lundgren pull it down with one hand and drag his defender into the end zone. Hot diddly-dee. Jordan, you are unbelievable. If that doesn't make SportsCenter, then I'm going to throw a fit. Argonaut got off to a 35-7 lead, but give credit to Colfax. They scored 28 points in the fourth quarter to make it close. But Argonaut goes on to win this one 55-42, picking up their first win of the season. Next, we're heading to Del Campo High School, where they're doing the wobble right there, as you can see. Cougars welcoming in the Rio Americano Raiders. Del Campo looking to stay undefeated on the season, while Rio Americano seeking their first win. We're going to pick this up early on. Rio Americano ball. Ryder Trantham throws a beautiful ball. Look at the catch by Devin Points there. That boy good. He made the adjustment and everything. Later on the drive, Ryder Trantham calls his own number, nearly gets this in for the touchdown as he races outside. The Raiders would later score. All right, to the second quarter now. Rio ball. Raymar Griffith takes the handoff, and my man knows where to go. Yeah, he's reaching pay dirt with the stiff arm. Now, unfortunately, we were not able to get a final score on this game, but let's just say that it looks like Rio Americano may have won. All right, well, let me tell you guys about them Jesuit Marauders. Now, after losing their first game of the season, they clapped back in a major way, upending Rio Americano 35-0 last week. And on Friday night, my goodness, let's just say Jesuit was in the mood to stand on business. Let's head out to Carmichael. By the way, Jesuit has one of the most electric student sections in the nation. Maybe that explains why the Marauders are playing so well. Jesuit coming in welcoming in Bellarmine College Prep out of San Jose. Now, head coach Marlon Blanton, you see him right there. He's seeking his 100th win with Jesuit. We're going to pick this one up in the first quarter. Jesuit ball. Brody Quinn takes the handoff, and just like people running to go buy Powerball tickets, Quinn is going to run this all the way to the house. Oh, we call that a jackpot. 85 yards to la casa. And you know what? When you run an 85-yard touchdown, you're allowed to sit down, chill, and take a water break. Stay hydrated, my friends. All right, next possession for Jesuit. Diego Foley takes the handoff, and watch him lower his shoulder and chuck a few defenders in the process. Yeah, Diego drinks milk. A few plays later, Teddy Rios throws a dime across the middle to Stevie Hughes. Mr. Hughes takes this in for a touchdown. Jesuit up 14-0 at this point. And how about that Jesuit defense? Oh, it was suffocating. Don't believe me, just watch. Later in the quarter, watch Demarie Moraney. He penetrates the offensive line and tells the quarterback, "You ain't going anywhere, homie." Heck of a play there in the backfield. It was that kind of night for the Marauders. They go on to win this one 42-7. And congratulations to Coach Marlon Blanton on getting his 100th victory with Jesuit. All right, next, we're heading to Christian Brothers High School, where the Falcons welcome in Nevada Union out of Grass Valley. Falcons still seeking their first win of the season. We'll pick this one up in the first quarter. Nevada Union ball. J.C. Harris going deep. And like a good neighbor, Ryder Elkima is there. And Ryder is going to run that in for a touchdown. 70-yard bomb. But Christian Brothers, they would answer right back. To the second quarter. First and goal. Deacon holding back the pass. He's scrambling and scrambling and scrambling until he finds Jay Cummings for the touchdown. But that was nice for the Falcons. But see, the Miners were just too much on the night. Nevada Union wins this one 52-20. They moved to 2-1 on the season. All right, well, we're going to keep this show going. I am not tired yet. Now, those Center Cougars out of Antelope have been on a roll to start the season. In the first two games, they've outscored their opponents 66-18. Only problem is they have yet to face those Rio Linda Knights. Let's get you out to Rio Linda, where the student section was on fire. The Knights still seeking their first win of the season, while Center is putting their undefeated record on the line. We're going to pick this one up in the third quarter. Rio Linda ball. Lewis Means calls his own number, and Lewis means business as he reses it for the touchdown, looking like Cam Scattaboo there. That put the Knights up 22-15. Now later in the quarter, Rio Linda ball. Joseph Corey takes the handoff, and he says, "Look, I don't know what your plans are for the night, but I got reservations for 6 at my favorite restaurant. It's called The End Zone." Rio Linda hands Center their first loss of the season, beating the Cougars 35-15. All right, next we're heading to Elk Grove on the campus of Monterey Trail, where the Mustangs are hosting the Amador Valley Dawns out of Pleasanton. Monterey Trail looking to go 2-0 on the season, and here's one way to do it. Just give the rock to Xander McKee and watch him get busy. He busts out a 40-yard run. Now, this game was actually 0-0 at the half, but Monterey Trail would hang on and win this one 14-10. The Mustangs are 2-0 on the season. All right, staying in Elk Grove, next we're heading to Sheldon, where the Huskies are hosting the Wood Wildcats out of Vacaville. Sheldon still seeking their first win of the season. We're going to pick this up in the second half. Sheldon going to the air, but is picked off by Mason McCray. Oh, man, you see the frustration on the coach right there. That sets up Wood with great field position, and they would capitalize. Where's my DJ at? DJ Sidemore. He gets the ball, and he's going to run this in for the touchdown, because that's my DJ. Wood goes on to shut out Sheldon 28-0, the final. Talk about a good week for high school football. Now today, we are doing something a little different and putting a spotlight on girls flag football. The Inderkum Tigers girls flag football team joins Matt George and I in studio. Well, as you guys can see, we are delighted to be joined by some special guests here in the studio. And for the first time this season, we are ecstatic to be joined by a girls flag football team. We have Inderkum here in the building. And let me introduce them to you guys. Representing the Tigers, we're going to start off over here. We have Sophia Crawford. Great smile there, Sophia. Right next to her, we have Sydney Scarborough. Hello, Sydney. All right, we're going to go to this side. we got Helena Batista.
Hello.
What's up? And right next to her, the head coach of this operation, he goes by Coach T. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Terrence is here.
How you doing? Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for spending a Sunday evening with us here in the studio. So let's get into it. You guys are off to a 4-2 start. In your 4 wins, you have shut out your opponents, and those have been commanding wins right there. Mm-hmm. What is working so well for this Inderkum flag football team this early into the season?
I don't know. I think just our energy and all the hard work we put in over summer really just has benefited us so far. All our types of plays and just our team chemistry.
You said team chemistry. I see that you guys get along very well with each other.
Yeah.
How does that team chemistry help you guys on the field and helping to know where you guys are going to be at all times?
I'll just say, like, when we all get along, so it's just, like, easier to help each other. And, like, if someone doesn't know something, it's like we can communicate better with ourselves and each other if we are already getting along. So, yeah.
We also have a lot of multi-sport athletes up here, including Sydney. 4 sports, correct?
Yeah.
You said 4 sports. So, but why did flag football work its way in? What is it about flag football that drew you and wanted you to be a part of this program?
I feel like I got pulled into flag football through one of our other coaches because I played basketball with her for my freshman year. And sophomore year, she brought me to flag football, and I just loved playing it. I loved the team chemistry and the people I played with, and I just haven't left.
Awesome. And, Coach, flag football has been growing and growing and getting more and more popular. We're getting past the point of the newness, and now we're getting into it's legit, especially in this section. For you, what is it you enjoy about this game, coaching this game, and how talented are the ladies in this area?
Man, I think there's a lot of talent from the ladies in this area, and what I get out of it is being a new experience. I've coached boys football. I was a head coach at Inderkum, JV, varsity offensive coordinator, and then when this came to me, it was something different, a new challenge, something that I never had even thought about doing, and working with them. And this is some of these girls, this is our 3rd season. So some of them, some new ones, but most of them, we've been here for a little while, and we're figuring out the game, and the results are starting to show.
What do you say to those who may not understand that flag football is still very much competitive, and you have to be very athletic and skilled to perform it at a high level?
I feel like even though we can't technically tackle, girls still be physical. We still play physical.
They definitely do.
Yeah.
All the time.
Well, at least we know Helena is very physical out there, so watch out if you're coming around her way. Speaking of physical, this defense that you guys have is just imposing, intimidating.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking before the show. I think you guys are averaging giving up 3 or 4 points a game. I mean, that's ridiculous. What do you say about your defense?
I think our defense is really aggressive, just the way they play, and they find the ball, they attack the ball and all that. Our safeties also watching. Yeah. We have really great safeties getting picks every game. It's just we're just strong in that.
Yeah, we have some ball hawks. One of the other things we did is we brought some of our successful Inderkum boys football players, Isaiah Crocker and Trajan Cotton, back, and they coach with us. They didn't come today, but they're coaching with us. So they're teaching things from, they learned at Oregon and Oregon State and Montana, UNR, and our D coordinator was a college football coach. He played 7-on-7 for me, graduated in 2014. So now we're kind of getting the real football stuff for these young ladies and teaching them the game because now they have scholarships. So we want to send them to college. That's our goal. That's my goal for coaching, to be able to do something translational for them and transition them to college. Free.
Well, Coach brought up the boys team, so that gives me the green light to ask, how badly would you beat the boys? Or have they taken the challenge?
They don't want no smoke. That's all I'm saying.
I love the confidence, though, that's for sure. Yeah. And confidence is key when it comes to a lot of these. Now, I'm just curious, since, Matt brought up the boys. I know I played boys, tackle football. I've been around it for a long time. I know there's a lot of trash talking that goes on there.
Oh.
How much trash talking goes on with flag football?
I'm going to say it really depends. I feel like if the other team starts it, we gonna finish it just a little bit, but it's just fun. It's all good. At the end, we shake it up, and it's a fun game.
They don't hide behind the helmets either. You see when you're talking.
No,
there's no visors. They say what they gotta say.
You gonna hear.
Yeah.
Coach, you said something that caught my attention earlier. You talked about wanting to send these ladies to college, have this be another avenue for women athletes to get their school paid for and to have careers. Yeah. What is it about this game that you think that provides that avenue, and how far can you see flag football, ladies flag football, go in the future?
How far it will go, first of all, I think there's going to be like the WNBA, there's going to be a female flag football league backed by the NFL. That's where I see it going really soon.
And what is it about this game? Because, for example, you talk about baseball and softball, and people try and compare it, but they're two very different games. Flag football, boys tackle football. There's the obvious with the pads and things like that, but you talked about the skill required to play flag football. And coming from the boys football side, what is the unique, special difference about flag football?
I think the unique thing is anybody should be able to play. If you're committed to coming out and working on some drills and some things like that, we feel like we can teach you how to be successful in the game. And these young ladies, they didn't know much about the game. Sometimes I still say things and they're like, all right, coach, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? You told me to push her. We're like, okay, well, what do you want? Yeah, you know.
Punt
so
return
stuff
still
like
doesn't
that.
make a lot of sense, but I just go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for the Inderkum Tigers girls flag football team for joining us here in the studio. And what an incredible week of games here in the Sac-Joaquin section. And this week should be no different. Now be sure to watch us every Friday night at 11 p.m. for highlights from all the big games. And of course, we'll also have highlights on ABC10 Plus, our free 24/7 streaming app, where you can keep up to date with sports, news, and weather. I'm Kevin John. We'll see you next time.